Do
She,
you
she,
need to bump up postage with the increase?
oh yeah, I forgot about the 55 cents.
You know what, I ran out of stamps today and went, how did that happen?
Or how'd you run out? I don't know.
I mean, I just didn't think
Postage.
to go. I
Yeah, I'll
guess I
make a
didn't
note to
check.
myself to add that percentage to it. Thank you, good point. And just an FYI, which is, cause technically we might be a little, we might be really close this year, to what we budgeted. And Penny wanted to bump it up a little bit, and then she came up with the idea, those binders that we bind all of our, they have the metal and the
Mhm.
plastic prongs. We've been not taking those apart. We've just been disposing of them. So now, and they're kind of pricey. So now, before we do our destruction of our documents, we're pulling all those apart and we're saving all of them. We just have all these, they're stuck everywhere, and then we're just gonna relabel them.
Mhm.
So we're saving money, so that's how I talked to Penny out of not wanting to, cause she takes care of the supplies for us and does a really good job, so that's why we didn't make any changes there. But that, again, was Penny's idea. What was the other one? Office equipment operations, line 268. That comes out of LOT. That's part of our whole computer, the AS400. We don't purchase it anymore, like we used to have to buy equipment. So this takes care of the equipment side. That's all covered under ACS, so. Transfers are the ones I filled in so far.
What equipment is 21,000?
21,000 a year for our AS400. It's actually in two portions. So part of it, it cost us, between the two, for our computer system, it cost us,
It's like your server.
yeah, the AS4, it's an
It's the
IBM
It's an
system.
the billing.
Old system.
It's an
Okay, got
IBM
it.
system, but the nice thing about the IBM is they're safeguarded against viruses. It's not like being on the computer a regular computer system.
Well, AS400s are, a lot of them are kind of an RPG ASC system. They're not a normal network, so therefore not too many people hack them.
I remember this now from last year.
Yeah. And
But
the
how
nice,
old is that AS400?
we don't have the AS400.
So this is our contract,
This is
a
our
rental.
maintenance, plus they take care of our, we don't ever have to buy an AS400. Every 7 years, we're buying a new IBM system, cause they don't
Right.
back it up. So now we don't have to do that anymore. They maintain it, they back it up. It's actually out of Texas is where their division
It's a
is.
service agreement rather
Yeah.
than.
Right, so what would it, if we decide to go in-house on a network
System.
Windows application, what kind of upfront costs would we have, and then long-term savings?
We looked at it probably 3 times since I've been here, and it will save you a little money, but you lose the security of an AS400.
Well, you can still put in safeguards
Right.
at a cost, but in the long run, I think the savings will be there.
6 years from now, you can do that. Cause that's when I'm retired. 5.5, actually. So I don't have to be here to move all the stuff.
We can start looking at our options.
Well, I mean, because
5 years, Jacob.
21,000.
I've gotten a lot of other things to do, Tammy.
it-
These are
Might take me
At
5 years to get
21,000
done.
for
Good.
5 years, you're talking 100 and some thousand, where if you put it on a virtual machine, on a network server, you know you're not gonna spend $100,000 in that 5 years.
They're pretty pricey, even the ones at the other. There's like 3 different kinds that are used within government, city government, that some of the cities use, and they're expensive. And they don't have the service that ACS does. And I can state that for a fact, cause you hear it
So,
complain all the time.
this is our billing system.
Mm-hmm. does everything.
So,
Payroll, utility billing,
pay online?
You could go back to paper.
you can do that too. You have to get it set up through your website, and you'd have
Have
to.
we looked into doing that?
Jacob's
Or we budgeted anything for that?
We are working on the website. The website's a good thing. We've got to put that in the budget somewhere because we'll have that cost in this fiscal year. I haven't placed that.
Yeah, we need to add that to the.
But we should have the capability to get the utility billing online.
And people pay online?
Yeah.
I mean, little old ladies that knit scarves and sell them on Etsy take credit cards, and we don't.
Watch it.
Old ladies, not you.
Oh,
You're not old yet.
oh, really? That's good to know.
No, yeah, so
That
if,
it is
if
something
that's something
I wanna
we can
get
add,
done.
if you could pay with a credit card or debit card online, if we can put that in the budget somewhere, whatever that's gonna take, that'd be nice. It's time to move forward.
It's yeah. We're working on it.
I know, and your codifications too. I'm just kidding. Are you getting nervous? Are you like, I don't even wanna do one?
The next area, the fund transfers, line 282, those go along with the budget amounts, and like the fire department, that's part of their budget. And alls I did was fill in numbers from the formula and the total fire department's budget. The other ones on the next page is the 16,189 on line 306 is for our share of the 40,000 that the fire department sets aside for the equipment fund every year. That's our percentage of the 40, and we're using LOT to do that.
Do we not have anything for library general funds?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
That's, some of those numbers we don't fill in yet till you guys look at their budgets. The other transfers are, from the corridor, from the different TIF districts to the debt service that are paying for their share of the debt. Special assessment is always paying for some of that streetscapes debt, the 2.625 million. So that's, cause the payments has to come out of debt service, even though we get the revenue in those funds. And those are just debt payments. Insurance administration, that's just based on the rates that Schneider Weirs gave us. They're estimating, they told us to estimate 0 on workman's comp for a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons is the new insurance commissioner is, for Iowa, is not as lenient toward workman's comp claims. So he might be a little less, he might be a little more resistant to paid claims as easy, so they're thinking it's gonna stay the same. They did have us go up 5% on structural insurance, so anyway, I just plugged in the numbers from the actuals that we paid plus this year's percentage increase and came forward from there, so pretty straightforward there. Page 24, legal services, I did not put those in, cause I'm not sure what Jacob's take is on it, and
Are we getting, I think it's time to perhaps get some bids from other city attorneys. Ones that specialize in municipalities, employment law,
Do you guys like to get proposals on that?
I think it would be a good idea. Put it out there, see what response we get.
I know the companies in Cedar Rapids, Simmons Prime has somebody in Shuttleworth, that's all they do. They are city attorneys, which,
There's a fellow in Macokota that represents quite a few small communities.
yeah. The thing with that is, it's gonna be hard if they charge more per hour than our current city attorney, but we won't know, perhaps it's less hours because they do it all the time and don't have to do as much research and are quicker at answering. Does that make sense? So you might pay more per hour up front, but have half the billable hours we have now. It's gonna be a tough decision to make, but like the credit card thing, I think we need to move our community forward in not just technology, but in legal stuff.
Well, I think periodically it doesn't hurt to go out and see what is available, no matter what it is.
When we're not under any type of contract, so you could just go request a service. I have some work for you here. Do me a good job, and there may be more work after that.
Yeah, and some of the bigger firms, the way I understand they work is you don't really work, I mean, you may have your main contact, but behind the scenes, they're not doing all the work. If you have an employment issue, they pass it to their employment specialist. If it's just a mundane thing, they can pass it down to their legal assistants who work at a lower hourly rate, so they work at a much more team aspect than what we currently do, but.
They're like fine oil machines. Well, back in the days, the legal system has changed so much. Like it's like the medical thing. You now have specialists. You have, ear, nose, and throat. You have heart. You have specialists. That's how the law has gotten. Like anymore, Todd he does no criminal, or he does only criminal. No contract, no anything. Like you stick to your specialty. And I think that's what a lot of these,
So for city attorney expenses, as of November, we already have almost $7,300. And we only had 12,000 in it last year, so I'm gonna put 15,000 in it. Jacob, you thought? You know how much you use, Adrian,
Yeah.
and that's all you so far. Your decision, on Adrian, what you need.
I would say probably 15.
The special bond, which is the bonding attorney, we haven't expended any as yet, under general, but you're gonna have some under general this year yet for your Meadow Ridge and all that other stuff. We haven't been billed for any of that
Yeah.
yet, so I don't know
The
what's
TIF
gonna
district,
happen.
we're gonna have.
I don't know what's gonna happen next fiscal year, but
I can
would-
check to get an estimate on that, cause I think they provided us with an estimate before they started doing the work.
But all that's gonna happen this fiscal year, the payment.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what you wanna budget for next fiscal year. I would budget at least 5,
Yeah, I agree with at least 5.
unless you don't think you're gonna do any more, especially with that grant revitalization,
Yeah.
that's probably gonna affect.
I would say at least 5 because the if we do
Yeah.
that downtown revitalization, we're probably looking at a bond.
Okay.
We've actually got maybe a couple different bond issues we may be looking at.
Yeah, so. Okay. And, the next page, 25, which is City Hall, under, the maintenance contract, maintenance, electric and gas. I didn't fill those in, but those should all be about the same, I think. We might be a little low on gas. might have a little bit more budgeted than we're gonna need, but with the new boiler and stuff, I'm not sure how that's gonna roll through. Buildings and ground supplies, we can bump that down, we don't usually, we've used a lot, different times, but 600 and 440, but I guess I would feel comfortable leaving it at 400. Then line 430, which is operations equipment, I don't know what else we're gonna need next year. That's LOT funds, hopefully we're good for a while. So, I wouldn't put anything there. Senior center, we filled in the structural insurance. The only other thing we add to that is line 455, the maintenance. We put in 500 in case Lisa has problems with the building in some way, shape, or form. And then on line 462, we put in 250 for supplies, buildings and grounds. That's just in case. Lisa's really good about taking care of stuff and not bothering and getting by, but you never know. Besides that, that's it. I apologize for not having all those filled in. I thought I had them all.
Will you make a motion to go into closed session?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
First by Betty, second by John to go into closed session.
Okay, let me turn off the tape just a second.